All right. Thank you so much for being here. I think that I was expecting one other person, but since we have 4 in the chat, that'll be equal numbers for breakout rooms. So that'll be nice to have the equal number. I'm also afraid that I might have overplanned for this. So if it feels rushed or if you have any questions that come up, I'll try to pause, but make sure to speak up or just throw questions in the chat. So welcome to my webinar of setting OKRs with coaching support. I'll go ahead and drop the agenda in the chat, including some links that we'll use for our handout. Tried to create my agenda as if it were an objective itself. So by beginning with our collective objective for the day, the objective would be that 100% of you, the participants, will gain clarity on a goal they'd like to achieve and know how you'd like to achieve it. The key results are kind of like the rest of the agenda items. We'll review the OKR and coaching support handout. There'll be some modeling of OKR coaching. We'll go into breakout rooms where you can ideate with your coach as a coach or a client and maybe start fleshing out your OKRs. And then I have an exit poll, especially since I think that will be maybe short on time. I just want to make sure that I'm capturing kind of like how you're feeling about the webinar by the end, if we can't make it back into the main room after breaking out into breakout rooms. So I'll kind of keep track of time here and let you know if we'll return to the main room after that, or if I'll just ask that you fill out the exit poll and enjoy your evening. Below the agenda here, there are 2 versions of the handout. The first one is a template. So if you have a Canva account, it'll take you right into Canva where you can actually edit a copy of the handout, which is nice because the bottom of it has like a little template graphic organizer, I guess, pretty simplistic for you to maybe fill in an OKR that you'd like to achieve. And then the second one is view only. And that's okay too, if you just want to take a peep at that. But I'll go ahead and share my screen so we can review the handout. All right. So again, today we're setting OKRs with coaching support. We'll go ahead and I'll kind of review the OKR definition. I'm imagining that most professionals, whether they're corporate or corporate professionals or educators, have an idea of what an OKR is, but this will hopefully help you gain some clarity on that or be a nice little refresher. So what are OKRs? OKRs stand for O, objective, which is a specific and measurable goal. And the KR in OKR stands for key results, which are actions you might take towards achieving that goal. So the objective really is the destination, and the key results are how are you going to get there? I've gone ahead and wrote up an example objective with some key results, and I tried to keep it, pretty light, maybe even something specific to me. And of course, throughout the session, you can keep it as light as you'd like or go as deep as you'd like. It just depends on your comfort level. So an example OKR for today would be my objective. I will commit to cleaning my bathroom 4 times a month. A key result for that might be I will track my cleaning by creating and using a weekly checklist. And another key result might be I will assemble a basket of cleaning supplies to leave in the bathroom as a reminder and motivator to clean often. So gonna go ahead and pause there and see if there are any questions around this first portion of the handout and about OKRs in general. All right, awesome. All right, moving on to the coaching portion of the webinar. What is coaching? Coaching is when a coach guides a client to their own conclusions through curiosity and deep listening, and by remaining unattached, should say unattached, to an outcome. Some might, if you're first hearing of coaching, some might assume that a coach is someone you'll go to for advice, like a mentor, but that's not really what coaching is. Coaching is truly just when a coach holds space for their client to think out loud, to process their own experiences, to kind of gain clarity on their reality, their values, their own goals, what they have control over. And so remaining unattached to an outcome other than just the outcome of what's best for my client is super important as well. And hopefully that'll be kind of exemplified as we go through these coaching questions. As you saw from our agenda, we will each be practicing the roles of coach and client. And of course, I'm not going to send you into the breakout rooms cold to, just coach as if, you're professionals. I wanted to give you some guidelines here and some really good questions that can be asked as you coach your client to gaining clarity on a goal. So what does OKR coaching support look like? Might start with asking the question, what's something in your life you'd like to either change or start doing? For me, that was being better at task management, specifically chores around my house, and to make that goal even more specific and manageable, starting with the bathroom. If we kind of start large, if your client starts large, you can always ask the question, can we make that more specific? So can we kind of narrow that down a little bit? Maybe sometimes that question isn't necessary. So we're marking that as 1B, question 1B. Question 2, what's the first step to achieving this? That would be a good question speaking to what are the key results? Question 1 is more about the wider vision, the wider goal, the objective. Now we're getting smaller. What's the first step to achieving this? And instead of saying, okay, that's a great goal, how are you going to get there? Really asking what's the first step is less daunting and kind of helps your client, start where they're at, helps meet them where they're at. Question 3, how will you know you're successful? This relates to the unattachment piece. If a client says, I'd really like to be successful in my current class, one might assume that means that they'd like to get an A in that class. But maybe to your client, getting an A is not what success looks like for them. Maybe truly they've got a lot on their plate and getting a B in this class is their definition of success this term. And it also helps with that measuring piece. How will you know you're successful? How are you going to measure that success? What does that really look like for you? And question 4, what will help you stay accountable to this goal? This is just another really great question to help flesh out another key result, but it's also really great to help your client visualize what some obstacles might be or what some challenges might be for them personally, so that they can picture them and then immediately start thinking about ways that they can combat those obstacles or challenges that are personal to them. So this will be our foundation for today as we take on the roles of coaches. But here's some other, I wanted to include also some other coaching techniques that you can maybe throw in there if you feel so inclined, not necessary. Of course, paraphrasing is always a really great active listening strategy, right? Listening to who's speaking and then summarizing or paraphrasing what they said in a concise way just really helps them stay on track when they hear it played back to them. Cheering them on, that is a really ambitious goal. That's so admirable, that you would set that as your goal. It sounds like you're really excited about that goal. Speaking of, it sounds like you're really excited, noticing and calling out what's perceived but unspoken. If a client is talking to you about their goal and they seem, not so excited about it, or like they're having doubts, maybe calling that out and saying, it doesn't seem like you're very excited about this goal. Would you like to, talk about a different goal that might inspire you more and maybe that you're more motivated to achieve? And then the last one would be visioning. What will accomplishing your goal look like, and how will you feel when you accomplish that goal? We know like visioning practices can really be helpful when like manifesting your goals and really seeing what it'll look like, what it'll feel like after you've accomplished it. Our brains like to know what to expect. So it's just a great way to kind of help them actualize what that goal might be. Okay, just did a lot of talking on the coaching piece. Any questions about coaching or about this part of the handout in particular? All right. I would like to model this before we go into breakout rooms and you do this on your own. And of course, that was part of the agenda. The only thing that I would ask is for a volunteer to ask these 4 questions here and to kind of take on that role as a coach as I model what it might look like as a client. Would anyone like to ask me these questions as a coach to start? Any volunteers? Just reading from the script, really. Oh, thank you so much, Melissa. All right, cool. All right, as the coach, you can go ahead and begin.
Let me lower my hand, sorry. So what's something in your life you'd like to either change or start doing?
Yeah, well, I've always struggled with task management. I specifically with getting chores done around my home. I really struggle with keeping my home clean, particularly my bathroom. So maybe to be more specific, I'd really like to just make sure that I am, attending to and tidying and cleaning my bathroom regularly.
Wonderful. Thank you for sharing. Sorry, my internet cut out just for a second. I knew that was going to happen. So what would be the first step to achieving cleaning your bathroom more regularly?
Yeah, I think that maybe deciding when I'll do this, kind of, bringing some structure to this to hold myself accountable. So I think I'm most productive on Saturdays, like Saturday mornings. So maybe I'll go ahead and make a cleaning checklist that I can check off every Saturday so that it can motivate me to, see that checklist. Maybe I'll hang it in my bathroom and I can see if I've done my cleaning for that week. And so I can just go ahead and take it week by week and know that I have a plan to do that every Saturday.
Okay. So will that checklist be the way that you'll know you're being successful?
Yeah, I think that if my goal is to do this every Saturday, maybe at the end of the month, I can look back at that checklist and see, that I have done it 4 weeks in a row. So I'm hoping to deep clean my bathroom at least 4 times a month. So that checklist will help hold me accountable there and let me know that I've been successful at that.
Wonderful. Is there anything else you think you could add to hold yourself accountable for this goal?
Yeah, I think that it's easy when I have visual cues. So I think that if I just collected all of my cleaning supplies specific to cleaning my bathroom and just left it there in my bathroom out for me to see, it'll be a visual cue for me to realize that I need to clean my bathroom that week. So yeah, I think it, even just little things like walking into another room, finding all my cleaning supplies could be an obstacle. So keeping them all right there, neat in a little basket, will help hold me accountable.
Wonderful. It sounds like you're really envisioning kind of what your goal is going to look like too when you've accomplished that. And you've already kind of addressed some of the, doubts or excitement that you have throughout that. So yeah, I think it's wonderful you're able to kind of look at that. I definitely heard you say some very actionable steps with accomplishing that goal. Thank
you so much. This was very helpful. All right. So thank you so much, Melissa. You were a wonderful coach. You're natural. So we'll go ahead and break out into our coach client sessions now. We do have 4 participants, so I'll go ahead and stop sharing. And then we'll go ahead and break out. I am going to go ahead and drop something in the chat that kind of explains what we'll be doing so that you can reference it once we're in the rooms. Hoping for a total of 13 minutes here, which is great. I think we're right on par for that. Once you get into your breakout rooms, decide who will coach first. I'll give you about a minute to decide who wants to be the coach or client first. Then as I will send you time reminders as you're in your breakout groups. The coach will then go ahead, as Melissa beautifully demonstrated. The coach will go ahead and ask the client the 4 OKR questions. And then that should take about 5 minutes, maybe less. But then take a little buffer time, about a minute, and I'll send you again those time updates to debrief, allow the client to maybe articulate what kind of clarity or realizations they've had, and maybe start jotting down what they'd like their objective and their key results to be, whether that's pen and paper or on that Canva template. Then you'll switch roles and repeat. You will then debrief for another minute. And then you can take that little link to a Slido to complete the exit poll. It is 1 question, and it is just, did you gain clarity on a goal that you would, in an OKR that you would like to achieve? Again, I don't think we have a lot of time to completely flesh out these goals, but as long as you left with some clarity and it felt good to talk openly about this goal and about how you can get there, I would consider that successful. So any questions before we break out? Yes, Molly.
I apologize for logging in a little bit late. Is there a link to the handout?
Yes.
So I learned the hard way that when you join a Zoom, you don't necessarily see the links that were put before.
Yes.
So I was all proud of myself thinking, oh, I'm putting all the links right at the top of the chat, and not everyone could see them. So thank you. I apologize.
You're so welcome. There's 2 versions there. One is just a view, that's the bottom one, and one takes you to Canva so you can edit it.
Thank you.
You're so welcome. All right, team, 2 breakout sessions. Look for those banners at the top for time reminders, and I'll go ahead and leave that exit poll again in the chat by the end. But thank you so much for coming, for showing up and participating. I appreciate you all, and hopefully you have a great time in breakout.
Thank you.
Thank you.
poll.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Great job.
How were the
Bye.
sessions? How'd they feel?
They were great.
Okay, good.
Yeah, no, they were really good.
Yeah, really good. I really appreciated the handout and the coaching script. I think I just really like that. Simple, but effective. So that was really great.
Good. I'm so glad that that felt helpful. Yeah. Well, thanks again. I'm so
You're
glad that it was
welcome. Great
useful.
job. Have a good evening.
Enjoy your
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks.